barriers, we must overcome them through regional and continental mechanisms. A continent of 1.4 billion consumers cannot continue to depend solely on important technology. Third, the regional cooperation and integration, of course. African industry will be competitive only if it's embedded in a continental value chain. This is why initiatives like the African Continental Free Trade Area, the sectorial alliances, and shared digital platforms are levelers to create synergies, pool resources, and harmonize standards. On the eve of this summit, I'd like to invite each of us to step out of our comfort zone. Let us not wait for others to set up the rules. Let us write our own African roadmap. The summit offers us a space to share experiences, showcase success stories, experience and identify collaboration opportunities, and lay the foundation of an African industrial strategy encoded in Industry 4.0. Africa is rich in youth, creativity, and resources. Let us seize this moment to prove that smart industrialization can be inclusive, sustainable, and filled with hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Iman. Ben Rabia, please. Yeah, you might stay longer. Thank you, and thank you for reminding our audience about the orientation of Morocco concerning this industrial shift and the actions that's been taken and the ones that will be taken in the future. I have the great honor, ladies and gentlemen, to invite to the stage the Managing Director of UM6P Technics, Mr. Mohamed Laklalesh, and also the Deputy to the Director General of UNIDO, Mr. Zhang Zhu. And last but by no means least, Mrs. Annika Clark, Senior Vice President of Deutsche Messe AG. Please. Together, they will share their vision for building the conditions of a sustainable industrial future for Africa. And we will start by the vision of the UM6P Technics. Mr. Mohamed Laklalesh, you're invited to take the stage, please.
Honorable Ministers, distinguished representatives of governments and institutions, esteemed partners, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of University Mohammed VI Polytechnic, it is an honor to welcome you today to the first edition of the NextGen Manufacturing Summit Africa in our campus here in Belgrade. UM6P is a university with a unique vocation, a research and innovation hub dedicated to addressing the major challenges of our time, from climate change to food security to digital transformation and industrial competitiveness. Our mission is to connect education, research, and industry, being deeply anchored in Africa, but with a global outlook. So every day we work to equip the African talents with the skills and mindset that are needed to drive sustainable progress. Hosting the NextGen Manufacturing Summit Africa is therefore not just symbolic. It reflects our conviction that Africa's future industrial transformation must be built on knowledge, innovation, and skills. This summit is not only about showcasing technologies. It is about asking ourselves a fundamental question. How can Industry 4.0 strengthen the competitiveness of industrial African manufacturing? And how do we act together to seize this opportunity? As you know, worldwide, manufacturing is being reshaped by Industry 4.0. In Europe, for example, predictive maintenance and AI are delivering significant productivity gains, with recent studies showing potential improvements of 30 to 50%. In China, according to the World Economic Forum, lighthouse factories have achieved cycle time reductions of almost 50% and productivity increase of more than 40%. And in the United States, advanced manufacturing pilots have reported measurable quality improvements, with smart inspection systems reducing defects by more than 40%. So competitiveness today is no more defined only by lower costs. It is defined by the capacity to innovate faster, to produce smarter, and to operate more sustainably. In other words, it's not about doing more of the same. It's about doing things differently and doing them better. In Africa, three forces give us a unique opportunity, and this has been reminded to us by Mrs. Braga. Demographics. So according to the United Nations projections, Africa is expected to have the largest workforce in the world by 2035, with a population of work age reaching 1.1 billion. Markets. Our domestic markets is expected to reach $6.7 trillion by 2030. And the integration. As reminded to us, the African Continental Free Trade Area is an opportunity to build continental value chains, not fragmented ones. But of course, this window is open, but we should act now to close also some gaps that we have. We know that only a fraction of firms, of African firms, are now using advanced technologies like IoT or AI, and over 40% of employers struggle to find workers with the right technical skills. So if we don't close these gaps, we risk missing this historic train of transformation. But the good news is that Industry 4.0 is already here in Africa, and progress is already visible across the continent. In Morocco, for example, the automotive industry exports around 700,000 vehicles annually, increasingly supported by smart logistics and digital quality control. In South Africa, IoT sensors and predictive maintenance are making mines safer and more efficient. In Kenya and Nigeria, we have tech hubs enabling cloud-based tools adoption to optimize production planning in real time. In Rwanda, drones deliver medical supplies to remote villages. So these are not isolated experiments. These are proofs of a continent in motion and proves that African innovation can inspire the world, and that Industry 4.0 is not out of reach. It is already being tested, adopted, and adapted here in Africa, and what we need now is to scale it up everywhere for everyone. At UM6P Techniques, we contribute to this movement by focusing on what we believe is a real decisive factor, which is skills. We create centers of excellence where companies can learn, test, and deploy new technologies. We design training programs aligned with industry needs, covering IoT-enabled operations, data-driven management, predictive maintenance, and so on. And we connect academia, industry, and policymakers to ensure that skills development is always anchored in real industrial operations. Our commitment is captured in our guiding principle: shaping skills, powering industry. So the future of African manufacturing will be written by our choices today. If we invest in people, in technology, in collaboration, Africa will not just catch up, it will lead. It will build industries that are competitive, sustainable, and inclusive, and it will address the challenges of skills, the challenges of unlocking financing, the challenges of enabling policies. But these imperatives need all of you, industrial leaders to invest in people as much as in machines, policymakers to create the rules and the conditions that let innovation flourish, entrepreneurs and youth to keep pushing the limits of what's possible. So let's take this summit as a chance to align on these priorities, to transform ambition into action, and let's together power the industry of Africa. Welcome again to the NextGen Manufacturing Summit Africa, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Leclerc, for setting the floor and also reminding how important is the set where we're holding this very first edition of this summit, because knowledge is the key and human capital is the key beyond technology. So now it's my pleasure to invite Mr. Zhu. We're very keen to hear from you and the perspective of ONUDI. Mr. Zhu, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellencies, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is an honor to open the Next Generation Manufacturing Summit Africa at the beautiful University Mohammed VI Polytech campus in Bangalore, a setting synonymous with applied research, talent, and industrial innovation. Warm thanks to our host and co-organizers, UM6P, OCP, and our partners at Deutsche Messe AG and the Deutsche Messe Technology Academy. Today's gathering marks the inaugural edition of this summit here at UM6P, where a flagship ecosystem connects laboratories and living test beds to real-world production challenges. Globally, intelligent manufacturing is shifting from isolated pilots to scalable platforms that span plant and value chains, and with people at the center, as already highlighted by previous speakers. Platforms basically that to help us that create this kind of like a system, open standards, shared data foundations, and vendor neutral test space, so SME can plug and thrive. Deployment needs to pair productivity and quality gains with decarbonization, resource efficiency, and circularity, underpinned by security, ethics, and responsible AI. In Africa, we are witnessing the momentum. Companies piloting digital twins and AI-driven quality systems. Universities launching robotics and data labs. And policymakers aligning investment standards and skills around the Africa continent free trade area's promise. This resonates with our theme today, where Africa's industry 4.0 takes shape. Our mission is to turn this momentum into continuous compounding productivity, resilience, inclusive and green competitiveness. UNIDO stands ready to support this path. Through our global work on responsible AI for industry and the broad partnership, we convene, connect, and co-create, ensuring that digital transformation lifts productivity, creates jobs, and strengthen environmental performance across the continent. Here in Morocco, the host of today's summit and a frontrunner in Africa's industrial transformation. Our partnership offers a concrete illustration of this vision. Morocco is a key partner of UNIDO, with whom we share a long-standing and fruitful cooperation. In 2019, UNIDO and the Kingdom launched the Program for Country Partnership, PCP, as introduced by the Director of the Ministry of Industry, a tailored and multi-stakeholder initiative designed to maximize development impact and deliver sustainable solutions. Structured around high-potential components, including Industry 4.0, the PCP has already delivered significant achievements thanks to the strong ownership and commitment of the Kingdom. I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to the Ministry of Industry and Trade of Morocco and all stakeholders for their continued cooperation in making PCP Morocco a successful model. Built on this solid foundation, allow me to highlight UNIDO's broader practical efforts in advancing smart and sustainable industrialization. Firstly, UNIDO's flagship initiative, Global Alliance on Artificial Intelligence for Industry and Manufacturing, AIM Global in short, provides collective insights and responsible AI solutions for industry. As the Africa chapter of AIM Global, ASMA is our continent anchor to key efforts, coordinated and practical. UM6P and OSIN will be our engine for testing and scaling. And our international partners, including Deutsche Messe, will help us keep the bar high and the knowledge flowing. Secondly, we are establishing a broad network of centers of excellence, labs and hubs across the ecosystem. A smart factory lab is established for enterprise in agri-food, pharmaceutical and mechanical sectors in Tunisia. A similar factory is under planning in Morocco. The Smart Manufacturing Innovation Center is supporting the integration of advanced digital technologies across the Western Balkans, and a center of excellence in intelligent manufacturing in China will leverage tested experiences to bridge the digital gap. Thirdly, we are upskilling the working force and widening participation, building digital and managerial capabilities for operators, engineers, and SME leaders, so technology adoption translates into quality jobs and safer, higher value work. This is integral to UNIDO's technical cooperation approach and to advancing an inclusive digital transformation. Africa's manufacturing future is being designed now, as already highlighted by the representative from UM6P, the choice made today, then will be reflected in the conversation over the next 2 days. Let us leverage this summit and ASEM's first conference to align intent with concrete action and to match ambition with practical solutions, and to ensure that Industry 4.0 in Africa is smart, green, workable, and profoundly human-centered. I wish you a productive and a forward-looking summit. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Zhu. If you don't mind, because for some of you who don't know, my real job is a journalist.